As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, Crystal, we're still celebrating Women's Month, right?
The whole entire month is dedicated to women and women in business and just women in general.
That's right.
And it's actually perfect timing because we've been going through the Me Too movement.
Yes.
And women are just on fire. And I think there's going to be some major changes.
That's right.
So we're excited about that.
I'm excited.
To honor us is a good thing.
Like I say, I've been looking forward to that day when we have a female president. We want to see how things are done by the female running the country, right?
The men are actually obviously not doing a very good job.
Not doing a good job.
I don't even know what to say. I was telling my sister, I said, when a con man can con people that are used to conning other minorities, that's an insult, man. They can't see through the drama.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
That's
it's just
crazy.
too much. So
that is crazy.
It's just so much going on, and I don't know. He's crazy, and then. What was it this week? He talked about chaos. He likes the chaos. Now, I don't know about you, but I've worked in offices where the boss liked that chaotic environment. Yeah. That was the worst place to work.
It is. It's a lot of stress. People can't get along. People don't know what to expect. And in business, some people say running a business with chaos is beneficial. It's only beneficial to one person, the one causing the chaos.
Right, exactly.
It's not beneficial to others. So
no, and it actually makes a very toxic environment in the workplace for those that are working, and it's very difficult to be productive.
Yeah.
I think when my early career probably was the reason that I decided it was soon to be working for myself was I had a female boss, and for me that's been the worst, being able to working for a female boss. And this lady, she was a wacko. I mean, she purposely wanted to keep you off balance.
Really?
Yeah, that's her
strategy.
That was her strategy, to keep you off balance.
So how well did that work for her?
Didn't work at all, because she had a high turnover, and people. I remember one time she was so bad that there was a temp that came in. And this is back in the day when they used a lot of temp services. So this young lady came in as a temp, and by 11 o'clock lunchtime, she snuck out in the back door and never came back.
What?
She couldn't take it because this lady was like a tyrant.
Like a tornado.
She'd come in and she'd scream at you and she'd throw you all off. And then if you made a mistake, which you were going to do by this point in time, because she was being that lunatic.
Yeah.
And it was just a mess. And so you never got anything done. I think when I left my exit interview, I was like, this is the guy that, that was her boss. He was cool, but he didn't know how to control her. And so when we had the exit interview, it's like, you need to control her. She's going to destroy your business.
Is she still in that business?
I don't know. I left. I couldn't take it anymore.
Wow.
It's like, you don't need to go to work and be stressed to a place that you hate to walk in through the front door.
It's always amazing how organizations like those behave. And see, this is an excellent topic we're talking about
right now. I know, because we have HR people in today.
Our guest right here, coming up next, is going to talk a little bit about, dealing with those kind of toxic environment and strategies to minimize and neutralize that type of situation. So it's unbelievable.
Right.
But we've done studies in organizational development, which shows that trying to thrive on chaos is not beneficial in the long run. It may be in an instant, in a moment in time.
Right.
But as your official strategy for running your company, it's never going to be a good one.
It doesn't work because, again, like I said, from an employee standpoint, you never know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
excuse me, and then from everybody in the rest of the departments are having the same problem.
Right. And the thing about it is, people within an organization that is very toxic or stressful, they're on edge. They're not sure. They don't exude confidence.
Right.
They don't know whether or not they're making the right decision. So as a matter of fact, they don't really want to say or do anything or make any decisions, which is not really good for the organization. So
Well, you're not going to get their best.
Exactly. So those are some of the things that I would like small businesses and even mid-sized businesses to understand, that it doesn't work for your employees when you try to create such toxic environment. And a lot of employers who do that are employers who don't understand the laws. They don't understand employment laws. So they try to make it as stressful as possible. Because if someone leaves that job, and I'm sure our next guest can kind of guide us on that and tell us, but if someone leaves that job because of stress, because they feel like the person is being unfair to them, the person is providing too much emotional distress for them, they will have a right to collect unemployment. They may even be able to take legal action for what's being done, because it's such a toxic environment. Right. So I'm just wondering why leaders and owners of organizations think that's a good strategy.
I don't know. Maybe they've worked in that place, and so we'll ask our guests this afternoon, but maybe they've worked in that kind of environment. I think for her, it was just like number 45. They're egomaniacs, and they're narcissistic, and they think that no matter whether it's good or bad, they will take that attention however they can get it.
And usually those types of organizations that exhibit those types of behaviors are not an organization with a board of directors. You see what I'm saying? Because the board is going to step in, because they're shareholders. They've got their investments at risk. So they don't want that to be exposed to those types of liabilities. So,
and it's interesting you said that, because Daisy, my best friend, is in human resources as well. Yeah. So she's always worked in human resources in a corporate environment. She worked at Continental. Yeah. So there's the FAA. There's a lot of rules and regulations that they have to comply with, right? And she was over the catering department, and so again, more rules and regulations. Yeah. So when they moved their location or the food facilities to Houston, she wasn't going to go. Yeah. So she's been working for a lot of small manufacturing, or not necessarily small, but family-owned manufacturing companies. And what I've found over the years is, when you own your own company and you're still the boss, and you have all your family working with you, you really, truly don't believe anybody outside should be able to tell you what to do and how to do it. That's
exactly how it is with some of these small family-owned businesses.
Right.
Because they're thinking, okay, this is family, this is our tight little network, so we can pretty much do what we want to do, not thinking that there are laws that govern the operation.
Well, with the laws, they don't think it applies to them, because it's my business. Yeah. So you can't tell me how to do my business. And so she's been struggling with working for those type of companies, because, she's telling them what they're supposed to do, and they're like, we ain't doing that. Yeah. And so it's very hard. And, of course, their experiences are high with workers' comp. Right. Because that's what's going to happen. You're only going to put up with that kind of stuff for so long.
And then again, like I say, those types of organizations that behave like that are usually organizations that don't have a board of directors or shareholders, because once you start having boards with amazing shareholders, and they're looking out for their investments, they don't want to be exposed to liability.
Right, you have somebody from the outside. It's like, no, that behavior has to stop. Yeah. And they have the right to, like, okay, we're going to replace you. Yeah, yeah. But family-owned, small, controlled, the board is everybody in the family. Right. And a lot of times it's them. So, which is why number 4, Trump has, his businesses have been, because he has the final control. His children are going to back up whatever he says. And nobody else has any power in those companies. So he can be as chaotic as he wants to be.
He doesn't have a board. He does not have a board.
No, he doesn't. And that purposely. Yeah. because he wouldn't be able to behave like that.
Right,
He
right.
would have. We would not be seeing what we're seeing,
Right.
because when you talk about
Some
doing good business and running a successful business, it encompasses all of that from your employees, because that's how you make your money.
Yeah.
Is making sure you're treating them properly,
Right.
and that they feel like they're valued.
And that will create loyalty among them, the employees as well.
Exactly.
If they feel like it's a good environment that they're working in. Now, for those of you who are just listening and just tuning into the Business Zone, our phone number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. If you've got any questions, any suggestions, any comments you want to make, give us some feedback on this program that we're talking about, if it relates to your organization, and if you want to share some little tidbits of information with us about how you feel your organization has treated its employees, give us a call. We're really, really looking forward to talking to you, okay? So, Crystal, this week we started a mastermind program.
We did. We started. We had some great, not as many as I thought we would have, but the ones that are there are going to be committed to getting their certifications.
And they're going to be good ones.
Right. So hopefully, and maybe in the next week, somebody else might pop in, but we'll just do what we do. We can only lead them to water.
Yeah.
We can't force them to drink.
Right. So the Business Zone has a program. Well, it's called a Mastermind program. It's a contract readiness program, which helps small businesses to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. What we do is we provide 5 classes where we teach you how to build your business model, how to build your capability statements, how to develop your cash flow management system, and look at the different financial statements, as well as procurement and certification. So these are some of the things that this program does for you. This is a second series of class that we're having right now.
Yes, it is.
So it's the second in the series, and it's been really, really phenomenal. And one of the things that we're also going to do is to help you obtain certification, at least 2 certifications, but one primarily with the state of California, so you can walk away and start bidding on contract opportunities. We're hoping we can get you bidding on contracts of at least $50,000.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And there was a post that, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. There was a post that was put on Facebook yesterday, and by a couple people that I knew, a couple of my colleagues, and they were saying that by 2053, that the white America would be definitely the minority, and then the Latino and the blacks would be the majority.
Right.
In your Asians, but they also said that we would be completely broke by 2053.
Interesting,
because the gap between the wealth
the
is
income
so
gap.
great that we have to really start doing some things that will make a change. And so that's one of the reasons we're doing what we're doing, is to change how much earnings you can make, and you can do that with certification and contracts, right? But if we continue along the path that we're going, we will not be able to sustain.
Right. And that's why that's a good point you brought up there, Crystal, because many businesses right now, they conduct transactional business where they do one business at a time and one client at a time, hoping that that client is going to return. And most of the times that doesn't happen. They don't come back. Depending on the customer service, based on what we were talking about, the environment and all of those types of things, they may not return. And if they don't return, how do you ensure that type of revenue that you're supposed to get? So one way of doing that is contracts, obtaining contracts where you can get a 1 year, a 2 year, or a 3 year contract that can sustain your business. And that's what we're doing, is teaching small businesses how to build their capacity so they can go out and obtain contracts so they can manage their business efficiently.
Exactly. And we have to get in a position where we can hire within our own but make good money so that we can pay decent wages. I mean, there are people out there that are having to work 3 and 4 jobs just to be able, and here in California with the cost of rent, you have to have 3 and 4 jobs just to be able to pay rent, let alone get to a place. And if you're already 3 or 4 jobs, you ain't gonna never be able to buy a home, right? And that's part of the wealth building, is to be able to own your own home,
right?
And then getting caught into positions where, with the tax reform law. So yesterday, I think I saw, and there was this supposedly economist, and she was saying, oh my God, the employees, they should be very happy. They're going to get, if you between $29,000 and $89,000, the tax benefit that you're going to get was $900 for the year.
$900. Now, how is that going to really sustain a family? Especially now, our average family is a family of 4.
Right.
So you've got a wife, a husband, and 2 kids.
Right.
How are you going to sustain
and we haven't taken that 9 and divided it by the 26 pay or the 24 pay period.
Exactly.
They're getting paid twice a month. I mean, every other week, right? Bi-weekly.
Yeah, that's chicken feed.
So one of the things she says, oh, they probably are not going to notice it, but they have to just check whatever their previous paycheck stub was, and then their new paycheck stub, which is showing the difference, which is probably about $5-10, right?
That is so ridiculous.
And then you're supposed to take that money and invest it somewhere.
That is so
ridiculous.
That's
not even rational thinking. That's ridiculous.
We're talking about an average of about $45 per pay period. That's what they're getting. $45 out of that $900.
Right.
That's ridiculous. What are you going to do? Buy some gas?
Right.
What are you going to do?
Right, exactly. Because that is gas, but rent is $2,000.
Yeah, or more.
So you're still not being paid adequate enough.
Right.
But they're telling you to take that little $45
yes.
and put it in your pension plan, like most companies have those.
Ridiculous.
And then, or put it in a savings account so that you can actually keep track of it, so you will really see it. I mean, that's not even rational thinking.
No.
So that means that comment is coming from someone that's never ever had to worry about money.
Right.
That never lived from paycheck to paycheck, because there is no extra when you work.
No.
For somebody else.
No. You always have these bills outstanding, and you're trying to catch up on these bills, but you never get to catch up on them.
You never get to catch up. And don't have an emergency. Oh my God, you just wiped out with one emergency because you can't even. And now that you got to pay part of your health insurance, and you got kids to buy shoes for and food. There is no extra money if you're under $150,000 a year.
I was talking to an entrepreneur yesterday who had about $50,000 saved because he wanted to start his business and do very well with it. And guess what?
What?
An accident occurred. He got involved in an auto accident, and surgeries and all kinds of medical bills, that just sucked up his $50,000. So now he has to be on welfare. Because he never had insurance.
Right.
He never had anything. So these are the types of things I'm talking about. One type of an unfortunate incident can just wipe you out.
And that's something that you have any control over.
Yes.
He didn't have any control over being ill.
So that little $45 they're talking about, that's not going to do anything.
That's just ridiculous. And it's been a long time since I've worked for somebody.
Yeah.
But that was the deciding factor. I work for the same amount of money that I get every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or do I go out and I make the kind of money I want to make? Because I can hustle it up if it needs to be.
Right.
But if I'm working full time for somebody, I can't go out and hustle up nothing after I leave.
And that's why I'd like people to do self-assessment to see if they have what it takes to be entrepreneurs.
Right.
There are certain qualities that a person needs to have in order to be an entrepreneur. They have to have it in their DNA to be that person, because you're going to be making sacrifices. You're going to be making decisions. You're going to have to make a decision between paying this bill and that bill, or paying this vendor or that vendor, or doing some work for this vendor, which is going to take 3 months before you get paid, or do one for a week where you get paid over here. So those are some of the types of things. You got to persevere. You got to be persistent. You can't take things personal as an entrepreneur.
And you have to have a strategy.
You got to have a strategy.
You have to have a strategy. And I always had, when I was first starting out in business, I always had a contract that I was there all the time. So that was my base. And then I could grow my business around that until I got to a position where then I could really just move out and not have. But I always have a contract with someone that's long term, that's a year to 2 years. So I don't have to worry about the basic expenses being paid.
Right.
Being taken care of. But not, you got to be able to balance that. You have to have your contracts in your...
See, many of our entrepreneurs, they may have a contract, but that's all they have, one contract.
You gotta have
so now you're putting all your eggs in one basket. And if something goes wrong with that contract provider, then you're out.
Right.
You are out. And coming from, this is part of my experience. When I was in New York, I worked for an organization called Dover Electronics. See those elevators you ride up and down? They make those elevators.
Oh, okay.
And they were a subcontractor for IBM. So IBM was their only customer. The only customer.
Oh, man.
And I'm going, how can they do this? But anyway, one day IBM walked in and said, you know what? I don't want you guys making the parts for our elevators anymore. We want to ship it overseas. We want to ship it to Mexico. And then before you know it, about 492 of us are out of work.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were planning our future or retirement. We were going to buy a house. I think I just bought a house. I don't remember. I just bought a house. I'm going, oh, my Lord, what am I going to do now? Right? So we had to come up with alternate strategies. So a lot of people who were in the manufacturing environment, they had to retrain, re-career themselves and go into other fields. I went into counseling. Business counseling.
Yeah, you always have to have a backup.
Exactly.
You got to have a backup plan because you have no control over it. And from coming from the accounting department at most companies, they kind of know from behind the scenes how and when, what they can do. They know this 6 months before, but they're not telling you, the employee.
They see
and if you're not
financials.
in tune, right, they see the financials. And I remember I worked for this .com company, and they were going through money like it was like water, right? And so they had a meeting with everybody that they were looking for new funding, but this was during the .com, so they had gotten their first round. They got like $12 million the first round, but they blew through that, right? But because they really didn't generate any revenue, it was hard to pick up a second round. So the early investors got their money because they were all public companies. But really, in that day, they were only driving the stock up so that they could get the first round of investors to get their money. So they got their money, right? So I knew what was going on. I knew who was on the short list.
Yes, you saw the book.
I saw, but it was nothing I could do and say. So people would come by my office and just be standing there lingering and hoping that I
think a little word or two might get disseminated from you.
So what do you think? It's like, y'all know I can't tell you not a darn thing. There's nothing I can tell you. I can't tell you anything. But I would just say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Right.
That's all I can tell you is don't put your eggs on one basket. Refresh your resume because you never know. That's all I'm going to tell you. Yeah. After that, you guys are on your own. But
Did they listen?
Some of them did. Some of them started. And I told him, I said, and the only other word of advice I'm going to give, because it was a great place to work. The only other advice I'm going to give you is, don't let the relationships that you have built here hinder you from making a move. That's what I'm going to tell you. Because a lot of people, that's what, especially if they like where they work, well, I don't want to leave them because they might be in a lurch. Because I'm going to tell you, they're going to leave you if they in a lurch. So that's the only thing I'm going to tell you is consider yourself and your family first.
That's right.
And then make your decisions based upon that. Right. Other than that, the company's going to do what it's going to do because it has no choice. It cannot run on nothing.
That's right.
So look at and observe everything because you can see some things happening just by opening up your eyes, and that's all I can tell you.
And
but I can't tell you
at the end of the day, it's all about the money.
It was all about the money. So we had, I want to say we had over 50 employees. And they had been in business for 8-9 months. They blew through $12 million in 8 or 9 months. And and when I left, it was me, which is why I'm in I was in the accounting. It was me. It was some friends of mine that was bringing money to the company. So I did keep them informed because they were bringing money and I want them to be out so they would know what they need to do. And the CEO and the president. That was all that we closed up the place.
Wow.
And got rid of all the furniture.
So you were pretty much the last person out of there.
That's why I was in accounting.
Wow.
Where if I was working for somebody, I was going to be the last person out the door.
And the only way I'd be the last person
out the door was to write the check for me and the CEO. That's how you get to be the last person out the door.
That's why you need to know how to count your own money. He who knows how to count his own money or her own money gets to keep it. So if you know how to do that, you need to read your balance sheet, your profit and loss, your statement of cash flow, and see what's coming down the pipe, what's being spent, what's being brought in. Then you're in good shape. If you don't know those things, then you're at the mercy of the bookkeeper or the CPA.
So anytime you're in the accounting department, and the controller, he was part of that. So we were the last people out the door because we had to manage it, and we had to shut down everything, right? We had to sell everything. We had to record everything. So in the final closing balance sheets had that we had salvaged whatever we had to salvage. So we couldn't have left. And that was the way it worked.
Wow.
But the first one out the door, the people like the administrative assistants.
Yeah.
Because, they don't really need... And in today's world, I hear people saying, I'm going into admin. No, not a good... You need to add some other skill sets. You need to up your value proposition because I can guarantee you as an admin, you're going to be the first one out the door. When it's time to start cutting down budgets,
You're expendable.
You're expendable because they don't even really need you.
Right.
They can do all that stuff on their own.
Exactly.
They know how to use Word. They know how to answer phones. They know how to schedule their own appointments with these little smartphones right here. So they don't really need you unless you're an executive assistant, and that's a different story. And you wedged yourself in where you become indispensable.
See, entrepreneurs, these are great words of wisdom that we're sharing right now. We're not just talking just to talk. We just want you to really pay attention to some of what we're saying here. And with that being said, we also want to give a shout out to our sponsors.
Yes, we do. And
we've got 3 sponsors for the show. The first sponsor is going to be DGS, Department of General Services, and they've been supporting us for a few months now, which we're very proud of. And at the break, we will play a video which tells you a little bit about the Department of Services, the services they offer to small businesses. One of the things they're emphasizing in that small businesses, you want to become certified. You want to become certified and try to do business with the state of California. Now, as a certified small business, one of the benefits that you get with the Department of General Services is that when you submit your invoice to be paid, they have to pay you within 40 days. Otherwise, you can charge them interest and late fees. So just so you know that as an entrepreneur, if you're a certified business and you're doing business with the state, that's one of the things. The second sponsor is...
Recycling Black Dollars, which is an organization in the community for 30 years. And our sole purpose is to be the conscious of making sure that our dollars recycle back into our communities so that we can ensure a economic pathway for our kids, for business owners, for our consumers, for everybody that lives in the African American community, and that's the purpose of.
And one of the key facts that Crystal shares with us all the time when we get alarmed about it is how long your dollars stay circulated in the community. And Crystal, you don't mind sharing it with our audience? How long does a dollar stay in the community? 6 hours. 6 hours. That means if you got paid this morning at 10 o'clock, by 4 o'clock, your dollar is gone out of the community. It's somewhere else. It's some other community who your family's not benefiting from. So you want to make sure that you focus and you put your effort in, try to get your dollars circulating. And that is so pitiful, Crystal.
Well, actually, this weekend I shared with a colleague of mine. He had gone to a meeting, and there was a young lady. Her name is Maggie Anderson, and Maggie in Chicago. She and her husband for 1 year they only shop in all the black businesses in their community. They had to search them out, but for 1 year, and she has written a book called My Black Year. And she goes around the country and she speaks on it. So my friend Leo had actually seen her at Occidental this week. And so he called me. He's like, have you ever heard of her? I was like, yeah, I've actually had some conversation with her. So we were talking. And so he was going, oh my God. And, we're like the 1.2 trillion dollar consumers in this country. Yeah. Right. And so Leo was like, he was just blown away. I said, let me share with something that's really going to blow you away even more. There's a report that's done by the Nielsen television and also BET TV, and it comes out every year, and it tells them exactly where we spend our money and all our dollars, that $1.2 trillion. They know everything about us, from the side of the bed that we sleep on, to the toothpaste, to the toothbrush, to the water containers, to the paper cups that you use, everything that you eat, everything that you consume. I shared it with him, and he went, oh my God. I said that, and I always, when I do my business classes, that's what I share with them, and so that they can see. Right. And it's broken down by class. It will even say our churchgoers, this is what they spend their money on. Wow. Our millennial young people.
I would love to see that report.
Yeah, it happens every year.
Yeah.
And
I would love that report.
Right.
So it's published by Nielsen. And
Nielsen, yeah, I can send you the link up.
I would love that link. Because, you know me, I'm an information junkie. I love data. Anything having to do with business and market intelligence, that's me. I want to get that.
Yeah. And so what he was saying is that, wow, why are we not doing? But it really is an eye opener when you see how they track our spending. Yeah. But at the same time, you go back into our communities and you don't see the result of that. Now, if we pull that $1.2 trillion, what do you think will happen to the United States then?
That's right. There will be a deficit, a bigger deficit,
right?
Yeah.
So we don't use our power, because if we're spending all that and they're charting that, and they even have it down by ethnicities. There's a report out there that's how much the Black Americans spend, how much the Latino American, and where they spend their money. And the same thing for Asian, and then the same thing for whites.
You know what's amazing? And real quickly, we're going to take a quick break. You know what's amazing? There are 39% Latinos in the state of California, 12% African American. You put those two together, that's 51%. Why aren't we controlling the resources, the markets, the businesses, all those efforts? You see what I'm saying?
Well, because
we're dominant. We're 51%.
Right, but if you put a wedge, you divide and conquer, right? In fact, there, and we'll go right to break. The movie Black Panther. Yeah. So there was an article that was posted on Facebook this week, and they went over to interview Koreans, because there's several scenes that was done in Korea, right? And so they were asking them, how did you like the movie? And they were like, it was phenomenal. And the general consensus was, in our history books and what we've been told, Black people are evil. And you see that when you deal with a lot of the Korean businesses that come into our community, right? That's true. So they were saying, we see them in a whole different light now. Wow. So this is who they really are, and they're kind of cool. Their women are beautiful. Their men are, one girl's like, the lead man was my type. Wow. But they were saying, because we live in Korea, it's all the same people, so right? They get all. So they only see, that's the only interaction they have from us, is what they see on television.
That manufactured information.
Right. And so that manufactured information shows us as gangbangers and crooks and drug dealers and fathers not home with their children and all of the negative pieces. Wow. That's what our movies show us. Right. Right. And that's how they saw it.
So as a result, by trying to put that kind of wedge between the groups, they're trying to make sure that we don't come together so we can dominate the marketplace.
That's exactly
But
right.
It's not going to happen for really long, because every day we're getting wiser. And just like that movie came out and start educating some people, there's going to be other types of resources that we're going to have as well. We're going to be meeting with different groups, and we're going to see the differences. So we're going to, brick by brick, we're going to tear down those
we're
walls.
in a different space right now. Right. We're waking up, and I think everybody's waking up, and everybody's seeing, the talents. The young people, they don't see color, so they're interacting with everyone, and it's the injection. So we just have to be smarter and wiser. That there are other outside influences that are creating that wedge to keep us from going, because you're absolutely right. If you take us and them and the Asians, we're 75% of the population, and it's a done deal.
I'm telling you, this is unbelievable. I know the millennials are going to take over. They're going to rule. They're going to
Well, look at these children that out of
That's
Florida.
what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
In fact, those 3 children that were the top speakers and the ones that were speaking on behalf of that school,
yes,
they've actually opened their own office.
Yeah,
because they were all 18.
Yeah,
and then
so they're going to be recruiting people to get them to vote.
Right, and they said that by the time, because right now is when they have to register. Yeah. There's going to be about 10 million young adults, 18 years old, that are registering to vote.
You know what's amazing? I think I told you about this yesterday, but when you get a chance, I want you to watch it. There's a show on Netflix called The 100. It's all millennials. You guys familiar with that show?
I have to watch it.
It's all millennials. And these guys, they were born in space. There are thousands of them. And they got banished from space because they didn't have enough food or oxygen for them up there. So they send them to Earth and said, okay, let's see if you guys can survive down there. They said, I want to see if that's a survivable environment for you. The 100 came down and they encountered some atrocities here on Earth, and that they're being led by 21, 22-year-olds.
Wow.
And that's kind of what's going on in Florida right now. Mm-hmm. I'm so hooked to this. It's like a novella. I'm like, every night I'm watching it for 3-4 hours, episode after episode, because I'm hooked to it.
And it's interesting because when I was in high school, I was on the East Coast. We had sit-ins, and because I was in the 70s. So we had sit-ins. We had we marched because that was during civil rights, and so young people are usually the voice that you have to hear.
Unbelievable. Well, I'll lend myself to it. So I know we've exhausted our time here, so we're gonna go ahead and take a break.
Okay, we'll see you in a minute.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
This is not our first struggle, and it's not our first victory. Women have been fighting for social change, for democracy, for equality for decades and decades.
We come together in fields and factories, in village markets and supermarkets, in living rooms and boardrooms. We share a common future, and we are here to find common ground so that we may help bring new dignity and respect to women and girls all over the world.
We are here this evening to celebrate the women on whose shoulders we stand.
It really is a revolution.
The women are not waiting for permission to do their work.
يجب أن نقف مع الشعوب المضطهدة.
And to be a voice for the women that don't have a voice.
Women have to be at the center.
And an arc of history.
The time is now.
No one can stop us. We will speak up for our rights and we will bring change through our voice. Our words can change the whole world because we are all together.
The time for rhetoric is over. The time for pretending we don't know what is going on is over. And the time is now for equal rights for women, equal pay for women, and respect for women.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Krista
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we're on the Business Zone. Our phone number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. And Crystal, who do we have in the studios today?
Well, we have a mom and daughter team over here that are doing their thing. They started their own business, and I think the mom has been in business for the last 10 years. Yesenia Flores, she's the CEO and president of HRY Personnel Services, delivering 25 years of experience in human resources. Yesenia's experience in HR is extensive, covering all the facets of the field. She's an expert in employer and in company relations, possessing professional experience in assessment and implementation, workers' comp management, and talent acquisition, training, and development. And she had actually had her own business for 10 years called HR Solutions.
Wow.
And then her daughter got her degree. Mm-hmm. And then brought the daughter on, and now they are partners. So she does business, Jeanette L. Flores. She does business development and the VP of HRY Personnel Services, and is a driven professional with a passion for helping others. Upon completing her master's degree from the University of Southern California, she partnered with her mom and founded HR Personnel Services. And she takes pride in helping organizations reach their objectives through strategic HR consulting. Welcome, both of you. We're pleased to have you. And I think it's absolutely amazing when mother and daughter can come together and do business together.
Oh, yes. So firstly, I want to say welcome to the Business Zone.
Thank you.
And I have known these fine ladies for quite a while now.
Okay.
They have attended many of my workshops, whether it's with the Latina Business Women Associations or the California, the LA Latino Chamber. But these ladies have been in the industry for a while. They've been supporting small business, Latino and non-Latino businesses. Mm-hmm. So welcome. And in honor of Women's Month, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're honoring women. One of the things we do here at the Business Zone is to make sure that each month we, whatever we're honoring, we kind of support this with our guests and support that particular time frame. So we want to welcome you guys here. As you can see from our earlier conversation, in our White House, they have a very chaotic world going on when it comes to their personnel. Yes. And as Gilbert and I were talking about, how productive is an office? Let's say if the White House really was a business, how productive is that for a business?
Not very productive at all.
Yeah, you would tend to...
That's what we thought. It would not be productive.
No.
Because workers, they don't know what to expect. When the leader comes in every day, and you're on your pins and needles going, okay, what is he going to tell us today? What is it going to be? What mood is he or she going to be in? It just doesn't make for a very productive environment.
Correct.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've probably seen or consulted with companies like that before, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah, it's very unproductive, very poor morale.
Yes.
Negative environment.
Yes. So how do you go about addressing that with the company? Do you sit them down, put strategies together? How do you do that?
It depends on where the problems are coming from. If it's from an employee directly or employees dealing with the employees, their issues.
Yes.
Either correcting those behaviors, and at times I tell the owners or management, we're going to work on a positive and correcting the behaviors.
Yes.
If we can't correct that behavior, if they're not willing to change eventually, we have to get that employee out of here.
Right.
Sometimes the problem is management or the owners. That gets a little bit difficult, but my way around that is let's do some supervisory management training. And I encourage that the owner attends those trainings.
Now, how do you do it when the owner is, one, the problem,
I know.
and two, they don't want to listen? How do you handle that?
It's difficult, but I think I've had a couple of cases where I had to talk with the owner. And I said, look, the laws are very strict right now. Well, they've always been. There are some types of behaviors that are just not acceptable out there.
Right.
And you're the leader. You're the example.
Right.
So if you don't lead by example, it's not going to work. And You're going to have a lot of lawsuits.
Right. So. Now, I'm sure you've done some case study, Jeanette. This is Jeanette Flores, and she is a VP at HRY Personnel Services. Now, I'm sure you've done, you've attended USC, you've done your master's there. I'm sure you've done some case studies on similar stuff like this. So when you did your case studies, give me a case that you've done and, some strategies that they use or told you guys about that could be used in that situation.
Okay, so I was taking a class on strategic corporate communication.
Yes.
And we had to work with a company, and I chose to improve employee morale through employee engagement.
Yeah.
So one of the first strategies was working closely with the employees and helping them recognize how their parts contribute to the overall strategy and success to the company. A lot of times when they don't feel valued, and they're the frontline employees, you have to really have a strategy that works from the top, the mid, and the front level. Or it's not going to work.
Right.
So that was one strategy we did there. More benefit packages as well. People will always perform better when they're compensated better.
Right.
So
but what about when it's the owner that's the problem? Have you dealt?
Fire him. Fire them.
Kick him out of the company.
Deport him, right? But have you dealt with anything like that where the owner was the problem and didn't want to listen at all? Because we've seen that a lot out there.
Just yesterday, we were at a company doing the sexual harassment training, and the owner at first was there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he wasn't there.
Oh, my soul.
And what was funny was, as we're going through the training, we see the employees' faces as we're giving certain scenarios, and they're like, well, do you guys ever ask the owner to be in here? At certain periods.
They said that, or
yeah,
you asked?
they said that. So he should have been in there, but he was in his office.
So you kind of knew that the problem was probably from the owner's standpoint.
Yes. And they know that, and it's unfortunate because the employees feel like, why are we going through 2-hour training?
Right.
And he's
when
not
the problem
here.
is there.
Yes.
Now, tell us a little bit about HRY Personal Services, when it got started, the reason why you guys started it, and who are your target audience, your target demographic?
Well, I'll start off with, originally I started off with HRY Solutions. And that's a human resources consulting firm. So I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And I myself have experience working with staffing agencies, hiring and firing them, seeing the good and the bad they do. And I've always wanted to expand my services to staffing.
Right.
But I couldn't find the right partner. And then when my daughter was going to school and her field is communications, we talked about it. And when we thought, this is a perfect partnership. You'll have the communication skills, which now she's using at the agency. She's our business development marketing person. And I have the knowledge, the experience, and the operations.
Right.
So that's how we have teamed up.
That's amazing.
So last July, we expanded our services and opened up HRY Personnel Services. And we do recruiting for clerical, administrative, professional positions.
Oh, wow.
As far as our target, for the staffing, we do all administrative, clerical, but we're specializing right now in human resources because that's our strength.
Right.
Jeanette even got a minor in human resources, did an internship there, so she's a little knowledgeable and becoming more knowledgeable. industries right now, I would say all industries, just from small employers to mid-sized employers.
Have you guys worked with municipalities like the city of Riverside, the city of San Bernardino, those types of municipalities?
Not yet.
Okay, but it's part of your plan to do that?
Well, eventually we want to be in healthcare. Because when Jeanette was doing our business plan, she noticed there was a shortage in healthcare for staffing agencies. So that's where we want to go in the future.
That's a good point.
There's a young man that was in one of my classes years ago, and he was very good at writing resumes, and he works in the health industry. And whatever, they turnover, there's a high turnover in the healthcare industry. And so whenever he wanted a job, he'd go and write his resume and he'd get hired like immediately.
Just like that.
And so when he came into my class, he was actually there he wants to own a sober living, which I think he actually has now. But in the meantime, while he was waiting on finding funding for that project, he had told me how good he was at writing resumes, and that his coworkers, that's what he did for them on the side. And so we created that business for him. Yeah. And everybody that he would write their resume and their cover letter for, they would get a job in healthcare just like that. It was just like, go in for the meeting. He'd tell them what they needed to say. And they were like, okay, we're offering you the job.
Wow.
That's amazing.
For us too,
sorry.
Being on the other end of that, we always help people. Even when we're recruiting, we give them tips. Hey, you should change this, or make sure you're consistent with this.
That's good.
And we find joy in that. Even if they don't end up working with us, or we don't place them anywhere, we know we're leaving them with a polished, clean resume. We have workshops too, where we help candidates build their resume, interview tips, things like that. So it is rewarding to help people be able to get jobs, and you're putting them in good positions.
Right.
In fact, while I'm sitting here, David from LACO just sent out a request for a bookkeeper that could possibly use construction software.
Really?
So he was saying he didn't think our recent graduates would be able to meet the qualifications, but some of my past ones. And then I'm going to ask you guys as well.
We can help.
And that would be great, because we have entry levels that are coming in. And when we teach them, I come at it two ways. Basically, they're entry-level bookkeepers. They do know how to use QuickBooks, and it's a 12-week program. And I teach them all my 30 years of experience, right? But I understand that most companies are looking for at least 2 years of experience with accounting, with QuickBooks. But they can come in as data entry, even if they come in as accounts payable clerks and receivable clerks, then they can build their resume up to that point.
Right.
And that's what we're looking for, just to get their foot in the door and then assist the bookkeeper, and then be able to become eventually a full-charge bookkeeper. And that's some of the things that we're doing.
That's kind of what we do with human resources students.
Okay.
Same thing. They graduate, they have a bachelor's now in management and human resources, but they can't get a job. So last year I was the chair for the Emerging HR Professionals.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
And that's exactly what we were doing, providing workshops for these students so they could learn the skills they need to be able to get a job. Because in school you learn what you learn in the books, but then you need that hands-on experience, and that's why you can't get a job. Another thing we do with students is we allow them to shadow me at this point. Shadow me so they can go with me and learn how to handle different situations. And because I do consulting and I have several clients in different industries, they're able to learn that. So that makes them
and that helps, because a lot of
valuable.
times it's just that person that will help you get your foot in the door, right? And a lot of times, especially when there's an abundance of people looking for jobs, and then employers are very specific nowadays. They're not necessarily looking to try out people like they used to.
You know what's amazing? I've known Yesenia and Jeanette for quite a while now. And a lot of what I'm hearing right now, I didn't know that about them. I did not know that. And that is why it is so vital for people to not only come on this show and talk about their business, but just talk to each other. Talk to each other about things they do. Because I've known people that sometimes they say, I didn't know you do that type of. And they've known me for 20 years.
Right,
They're going, I didn't know you do that kind of work.
Ask a family member what you do, and they can
Exactly. So it's amazing that we're talking right now, because by us talking about this, we're getting that information out. And even some of your friends and family members, they might go, Yesenia does that? Jeanette does that? You know? So it's amazing we're doing that. Mm-hmm. And in that light, perhaps you can tell our audience your phone number, how to get a hold of you, where you're located, and that type of thing, so they can reach out to you.
I'll let you say.
So HRY Personnel Services, we're located in Upland, but we pretty much cover the Inland Empire, certain parts of Los Angeles as well. You can reach us at 909-375-0192 or visit our website, hrypersonnelservices.com, and you can find all of our information there.
And any type of training that you need within the HR and the staffing space, they have it available. And you guys have some videos as well, right?
Yes, we like to make videos, and all of our training is bilingual in Spanish. So that's really helped some of our clients, where a majority of their workforce is Spanish speaking. We're in Southern California, so
yes.
So that's an option too.
We're fluent in Spanish.
That's very good.
So
very
how
good
has it? Because we're in a very interesting time now with so many companies with the sexual harassment. You guys are doing a lot of training now. That was mandatory,
It helped.
but I've worked in companies as a contract bookkeeper, and I do a little bit of HR just because that kind of goes along with payroll, right? And as I was saying to Gilbert, usually sole proprietors or people that own their own businesses, they think those laws do not apply to them, that they apply to those other people out there that have employees. But this is my business, so nobody can come in here and tell me what to do, right?
Yeah.
Right. They do think that.
So you guys having to do more?
We are. I told Jeanette, well, I'm so thankful for the news. Harassment. I have been getting more contracts to do sexual harassment training.
Yeah.
So it's been good for us. And the bilingual, man, I'm so thankful we're fluent in Spanish.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, the one yesterday was all in Spanish.
You know what you guys should try to do? You guys should probably try to pursue the County of Los Angeles, because they're always looking for bilingual consultants. Because they have that population, that needs a type of services, or they have these different departments that needs a training as well. So that could be a contract opportunity for you guys. We talked earlier about transactional business versus contractual business. That would be a good contractual business for you.
Are they certified?
I was just going to ask them that. Are you guys certified?
We are certified.
So certified woman-owned, certified small business as well?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And disadvantaged business too? The
No.
DBE?
No, not disadvantaged.
So you guys want to jump on that one. Jump on that one, and you can certify with Metro or with Caltrans on that. You can also certify with the CPUC, which is a California Public Utilities Commission. And that would be another one where you can get in with Edison or the gas company.
That one we are certified.
You are
with the
certified
Supplier
with
Clearinghouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes. It's a women minority business.
Perfect.
And I'm going to refer them over to LATCO.
Yes.
Because that's one of in addition to the program that we do, they do multiple programs out at their various offices. In fact, I taught this particular cohort in El Monte, and most everybody was in that area. But this time, I'm going to go actually be teaching in Pomona at their office. And these are programs. Now, the program that I just did was an admin program, and then they added on the QuickBooks piece. And when I'm at Mount SAC, it's just 12 weeks for the QuickBooks and accounting and payroll. So I will reach out to them, and these, because they do bring in people to just have a conversation. I think one of the days last week, Apple One came in and interviewed them.
Okay.
And one of the young ladies told me, though, which was interesting, because I kind of developed a relationship with them. So most of these have been on some sort of social services, either EBT, the food program, or housing, or the Crystal Stairs. So the goal is to get them off of those systems, and they make decent wages so they can take care of their family. And the selection process is really pretty unique, because over the 3.5 years I've done this, most of them have had an amazing aptitude for the accounting piece and numbers. And maybe 3 or 4 out of each class that don't catch on, but they want to try. So one young lady told me that when she did interview with the Apple person, the person was very condescending to them, almost like they, resented that. She said it was just weird. She just felt very uncomfortable in the way the lady was speaking down to her. And so she said, for that, I don't care what she's offering me. But, I thought that was kind of interesting. You're coming in to help them find a job. You can't be condescending to them.
Right.
We get different compliments. People leave our interview saying, wow, this was the nicest interview I ever had. And I told Jeanette, we're kind of doing an interview and coaching at the same time.
Yes. And see, the thing is, that style that you guys exhibit is such a relaxing and comfortable style that people will open up and tell you anything.
Yes.
That's a great style.
And I remember back in the day, it wasn't always, I don't know which was worse, going through the personnel agencies or going straight to the employer.
Yeah.
But you didn't necessarily feel all that comfortable when you left them.
Exactly.
Like, are you helping me or what's going on here? I understand they're your clients, but you're going to get paid for it. And I always felt that way. And so I've had other people have said that.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break again. It's amazing how the time flies so quickly. But when I get back, I would like to, I want to make a suggestion to you guys that with one of my clients who's looking for services. So we'll do that. So you're on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. If you want to give us a call here, our phone number is 323-293-3375. I know we have a lot of small business out there who's got some HR concerns or questions. Please give us a call because we can provide you some solutions right now for free. Give us a call. Take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Each year, the state of California contracts for billions of dollars of goods and services. We as a state can and should leverage our spending power to achieve policy goals that help the people of California. One major policy goal we have is to create jobs and grow our state economy. Promoting the development of small businesses within California is a great way for us to do that, because California's small businesses are the engine of economic growth. 95% of companies in California are small businesses, and with the right opportunities, these small businesses can grow to become the next Apple, Netflix, or Tesla. So let's all do our part to promote small business development and grow our state economy. Together, we can really make.
So we're back in the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And we're talking here with our special guests in the studios today. We're speaking with Yesenia Flores and her mom. I'm sorry, Yesenia Flores and her daughter, Jeanette. They both look so young, so I don't know which one is the daughter or the mom. But they're here. They're here from HRY Personal Services, and Crystal was asking them some questions earlier, some amazing questions, which they were just amazing. They were on top of their game. So, Crystal, you had some more questions.
Yeah, actually, we kind of talked about this during our break. So, what does HRY stand for?
HRY. So the H is for honesty.
The R is for respect. And the Y is for you. You the client and you the candidate.
I love that. I love
so they walk their walk and talk their talk. And we actually last night when we did our class on the business model, one of the things that was very important was the customer relation part of running a business. So as small business owners, what has been some of the challenges? You've been doing this for a little while.
Yes.
Right? And then was your plan to come right out of college and go into business for yourself, or what was the original plan?
No, that was not the original plan, but the moment the opportunity presented itself, I jumped on it. I didn't think twice. We were talking about it one day, and I loved the idea of it. I grew up seeing her in HR work her way up from a personnel assistant to a manager, eventually consulting on her own, and seeing that, I just had so much admiration that I was like, man, I want to take the company to the next level, and now we're doing it. And
so when you were at USC, were you thinking, okay, when I graduate, I got to go find a job?
Yes.
Were you thinking that? So then when your mom approached you, that was just amazing because it bypassed that job search thing and all of that.
Yes, right? and I had a moment like, should I go out and work somewhere and get that experience? But then I was like, no, I'm going to do this.
That's good, though.
Well, it's always important when you have someone. I like to say that my family. I'm like the third generation entrepreneur, but I saw my family owning their own businesses and working their own business. So it was only inevitable that was what was going to happen. Although when I left college, I also went to SC. I did my entrepreneurial studies there, and when I left, I thought I needed to go work in different companies, and that's where I acquired the bookkeeping, just so I could get a feel for what it would be like to do what I do, consulting small business owners, and even the accounting piece, but how it works in a corporate environment.
Sure.
And that way I could take that experience to utilize that experience when I'm consulting with small businesses, so that they can think that way.
Yes. Now, I know you've taken some of my workshops. You've taken some of my workshops. And I know within the personnel environment, you guys have a lot of files. You got to store records and all of that. And we have a system called Small Biz Pro, which you guys know about, which we've revamped, and it's bigger and better than before. Right now, there's a lot of opportunities on there. Like you can go and look for different contracts, opportunities in any state. In any state. Yeah. And you can also store your documents. You can retrieve them in seconds. You can also conduct some market research. So if you're looking for research on your competitors or your market, your industry, you can do that as well. So what I want to do as a token of our appreciation of having you guys on the Business Zone is to give you guys free lifetime subscription to that. So you guys can use it to run your business, and you can access your documents in seconds.
Wow, thank you,
Gilbert. Yes, definitely. So
that would actually help. You brought up a good point, because right now I have a lot of my documents on iCloud.
Yes.
But I was telling Jeanette, I said, I want us to be able to share the documents. And the only way we can do it right now is her logging into my iCloud, which I don't like. So that would be perfect.
And this system, you'll have we're going to give you the premium version. So that means you have up to 8 users. So you can have 8 different people logging in and accessing only the documents you want them to access.
Okay.
So if you have a staff that is only going to access marketing materials, that's all they'll access. If they're going to access, finance or whatever, then this is going to be for you. Okay?
I can see that being very useful for us.
Yes, it's going to help you guys tremendously.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's how we treat our guests here on
So, in Southern California, there's a lot of growth going on. What are the forecasts for the different types of industries that jobs will be available to you guys over the next 4 or 5 years? And how should individuals, if they're in the job market, be preparing themselves?
Yeah.
Well, I know the services industry, most of the businesses now is in that, but I was recently at a manufacturing summit, and they're really pushing towards education in that. So whether it be in engineering, different departments in manufacturing.
Quality control,
exactly.
or something like that.
So there's a push for that, which I even thought, I told my mom when I got home, I was like, our little cousin graduates, my little cousin graduates high school. I'm like, he should go to school for something engineering in that, or in manufacturing, there's people working there on cars, a lot of different things.
Yes.
So I know that's going to be on the rise. Different services industries.
Yes.
Healthcare as well is one. That's why we wanted to get our feet wet with the staffing industry and then eventually move into healthcare.
Yeah, because, some of what's going on in America when their jobs have been eliminated because the business has been eliminated, just being able to prepare our young people for whatever is on the horizon. Like I said earlier, I kind of looked over when I was working in corporate America, and then when I knew I was going to be migrating out of it, what were the skills that I needed to stay relevant? And that doesn't change. And bookkeeping and accounting, no matter what goes on in any of the businesses, I know you got to have a bookkeeper and you got to have an accountant somewhere in the mix, right? So I think it's important when people, because we get so complacent, right? And I'm sure you guys see that when people come in, your clients come in and they've done the same type of business over and over again and really haven't become more diverse so that their skill sets are there's value to their skill sets.
Human resources is needed and will be needed more with all these regulations.
Yeah.
Human resources, and with me having clients, manufacturing clients, I've noticed that many of them have machines are taking over employees' jobs. So like even my grandson, I tell him or my nephew, computer science. You need, if you don't know what to do, go for computer science. That everything is becoming technical in this world.
Well, because even in the industry, music, in the entertainment industry, I do a youth entrepreneurship program in the summertime, and we had an opportunity over to Channel 5 or KTLA, and there was a robotic doing, it was the camera person. I mean, they had one camera person, human camera person, but the robots are actually the ones that are doing the news.
Unbelievable.
Right.
It's sad. It's sad for us to see because we have to lay off these employees that machines are taking over.
And I think I saw something yesterday, and I don't know whether that was here. I think it wasn't. I think it was in Japan. A robot that was flipping burgers.
Really?
Yeah. That's serious, right?
That is some serious stuff. That is some serious stuff.
Because most kids, that's the first job you're going to get, right? Is flipping burgers at some fast food place. But and then after the recession, that was moved by a lot of older people that needed jobs, and so they couldn't find jobs. And now, older people can get jobs, and so they've left it open. But now they're contemplating bringing in robotics.
Wow,
robots to do that.
That is deep. And that's why we got to work on our skills so we can make them so sharp and so unique that no matter what they try to do with those robots, they can't come in and replace us.
Well, you got to have the value. You got to be. It's like when they outsource all the customer service jobs to India and so forth and so on, right? So one of the things they found, but it was after the fact, and I think it was women in IPP. I think it's Women something International, whatever. They did a report that the companies were losing out because when they outservice the customer service to India, those people couldn't do an upsell. And that's usually what happens, right? You call it AT&T, right? And you got a problem with your cell phone. They're going to have a conversation. They're going to solve your problem. And at the end, they're going to say, let me take a look let me see if there's anything else I can do. Oh, you don't have DirecTV.
Yeah.
That's every time you call them, right? So they couldn't get that when they were outsourcing the customer service because, they don't live here.
Yes.
All right, so the company started losing money on the upsells.
Unbelievable. So one of the things I want to ask you also is since we're celebrating Women's Month, March as Women's Month, how do you see you working in the industry as a woman? How do you see that impacting you or the people that you touch? Or do you see it as a barrier? Do you see you overcoming certain barriers? Because this was a male-dominated industry, right? So how do you see you taking this on and making it an advantage for you versus a disadvantage?
In the human resources field, I think it's an advantage.
Okay.
Because most of the people in human resources end up being women. Actually, I was talking to a student yesterday that I'm mentoring right now, and he told me he feels that he has a disadvantage being in human resources and being a male. So for us, it's good. How we affect the industry, I was telling Crystal earlier that we volunteer. I've been volunteering at Pasadena City College with the Latina business women, Adelante Latina business women.
Yes.
And they have several Hispanic speakers, female speakers, motivating these young girls. So I think that's how we have motivated and affected the industry with women. And like I said, helping the recent graduates from human resources, anything we can do to motivate our young professionals coming into this world.
Right.
Yesterday, at the agency, I interviewed a lady for customer service. Her and her sister went in. They're both looking for work.
Right.
And then at the end, I told you, our interviews end up being coaching. And I said, are either one of you guys going to school? They're in their 20s. They go, no. And I said, what do you plan to do in life? I don't know. And I said, well, you really need to go to school. And when I got home, I told Jeanette, she wasn't at the office, I said, these girls must have thought, who is that woman telling us what to do in life?
But you have to have that conversation, right? Because you can't be mediocre today.
Right.
That's what I told them. I said, you
have
need an education. I said, do you want to see yourself in your 40s, 50s, just working minimum wage? No. I said, you need to go to school. And I tell them about me.
Right.
Because no one handed me things, I had to fight for where I am now. And my life is so different.
And also, maybe there's been family members who've been telling them the same thing, but they're not listening. So hearing it from an objective third party might make them start listening.
Exactly.
Because I know, even some of our small businesses, you're telling them stuff, they're not listening. But then they hear it from an objective third party. They go, wow, that sounds like such a great idea. Well, you've been hearing it for 10 years and you're not listening. So that's a good one. Now, also, I have a client, and I never thought about you at the time, but now that you guys are talking about them, I'm going, why didn't I think about them? But he was looking for an organization like yours to provide training, sexual harassment training to his employees. And I had referred him to someone, but I don't know the status of it, so I'm going to follow up with him and see what the status is, because if he hasn't secured that person yet, then I may refer you guys to him. And plus, he's Latino also, so probably and his workers are Latino. Some of them probably barely speak English, so this would be a good fit for them.
Right.
And then you've got such an amazing style, relaxed style. You know those people, those counselors will make you go in and you just start telling them your whole life story. That's them. That's what they do.
Well, actually, but most of the time the HR, if you're in your company and your HR, they're working for the employer.
Yes.
Right. So this way is a little different.
Yes.
That the employee can feel that they can open up to you and have a conversation with you, where they wouldn't be able to do that in most traditional HR department. And I'm going to have to ask this question because, years ago, like I said, my payroll has always overlapped with HR.
Yes.
And so there was a push, I want to say about 10, 15 years ago, where we had to have the sexual harassment training. So I guess the question is, what the heck happened? because they were having to do it every 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that became the law, right?
Yes.
And so the question was, what has happened?
You mean recently?
Yeah, well, I know what has happened. Yeah, I know what has happened from the incidents.
But you mean why they
haven't been maintaining what they were learning?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean at the company? And
right, exactly.
I don't know. Their HR person.
Yeah.
Their HR department not enforcing it.
Okay, because remember we there was a big push on it about 10 years ago, right?
Yes.
10, 15 years ago.
And that's a problem. Like, I went in yesterday, I did the harassment training at this company.
Yeah.
Now, will they enforce it? What happens is the first few days, they're all taking care of what they're doing, watching what they're doing, but then they forget. And they go back to that same behavior.
Oh, okay. Because
that's what
I
happens.
remember there was a big push.
Happens.
It was like, what happened?
Do you have follow-up built into your training programs? So let's say you did training yesterday. You say, okay, we'll follow up with you guys in 30 days just to make sure you're implementing these systems.
Not in that way, but yesterday, for example, the CFO? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was there, the CFO, and she said, when I'm introducing myself, I tell them about my experience. And when the training was done, she was sitting in it. She said, what other services do you offer? And I said, well, we are the human resources person or department for your company. We're here as little or as much as you want.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And part of that is if they have any issues, we can come in, do an investigation, talk with employees.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually what we do for our employers on the human resources consulting side.
Right.
We help them with,
That's okay.
We help them implement as easy as paperwork for new hire, the new hire process, employee disciplining, trainings, terminations, anything they need for employees. That's what we're there for.
Right.
And then I guess the question is that, especially, but when it gets up to the high levels, when there's payouts being made, that obviously doesn't trickle down to the HR, because that could happen with the attorney. Mm-hmm. And then you have these individuals, because a lot of this sounds like there's off-site backroom dealings going on or something, that all of a sudden somebody has been paid money and you're told to shut up, or they've been pushed out the company.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that is true. Now, in the light of what you guys were just talking about, you and Crystal, I'm wondering, do you have like some bullet points of the services that you provide that you could, share with our audience right now real quickly to let them know, well, we do workers' comp training, we do sexual harassment training, we do coaching, that type of thing?
Yeah, I'll let Jeanette speak since she's she's developed our website and she has bullets. She probably has them memorized.
All right.
So on the HR side, we do everything. Yesenia briefly mentioned that from the beginning, assessment and implementation. We go in, we see what the company has in place, see what they need, everything from personnel files, new hire orientation. We do safety, training, inspection walkthroughs. We do employee relations, so HR policies and procedures, handbooks, anything having to do with employees' investigations.
Managing workers' compensation claims, which is so important to manage those correctly.
That's a big
especially in manufacturing
companies. Manufacturing distribution. So we help them all the way from the beginning to the end until that claim gets closed.
Now, when you write your HR employee handbook, do you have to go in and ensure that the new state rules, guidelines, requirements of last year is putting to this year's rendition of it?
Yes, well, last year and any current laws we have.
So every year you got to go back and check the laws and make sure they're put in.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
And another service for our clients is once they're our client, unless they get rid of us, we're theirs forever.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the year, we usually send updates. These are the updates for this year.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So you are ongoing services.
For this year, for example, on the applications, you can't ask the salary history. You can't have the criminal record.
Right.
So we send reminders like that so they don't forget. And we have a lot of on-call clients just when they need us, but we still include them in those lists.
Now, there's a lot of small businesses out there who say, you know what, I don't really need you guys. I can go online, I can download an employee handbook, I can use that. Knowing that employee handbook might be 15 years outdated, right? So what would you like to tell the audience with regard to that, why it's a risky business to download one of those manuals off the internet as opposed to coming to an organization like yours?
For one is employee handbooks have to be specialized to that company. You know, if they have over 50 employees, under 50 employees, there's different laws that will apply to them. So with them just doing the handbook, they may not know everything that needs to go in the handbook. But some of those policies, because of our experience, for example, with sick pay, vacation, PTO, sometimes there's different ways to word information that they don't know. And a handbook can hurt you if you don't do it correctly.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
And also with the ADA compliance requirements too, not too many of those online templates that you find on the internet has anything like that. So
and if you do it wrong, it can hurt you.
And that's another reason. I'd like you to make a case right now to the camera here and let our audience know why they should work with a consultant like yourself to generate that handbook as opposed to downloading it off the internet.
The reason why you should do that is we know the law, we know the industries, we know what you should have and not have in that handbook. It's not a template. Another thing is we get to know your company needs. That's actually a service that we provide for consulting, which it doesn't matter if you have 2-3 employees or 300, 500 employees. We get to know your company, know your company policies, know your company rules. So that's an excellent benefit to a customer, to a company, of having a consultant.
Very good. Very good.
Right. And also, I think the other piece of having an effective business is the training, the ongoing training with the employees.
Yes.
A lot of times, especially in fast food type of environments, there is such a high turnover that the reason usually behind it is that they're not properly trained.
Well, sometimes it's them or the supervisors,
exactly.
Management.
Yeah.
That's actually a big problem, and the problem is a lot of employees are a really good worker, so they promote them to be a supervisor or a manager, but they don't give them the tools to be a manager or supervisor.
Right.
So that's another thing we do where we train the supervisors, effective communicating skills, coaching skills, different skills that they need so they can manage employees better.
Very good. Very good.
Sandy Lou says hello.
Hi, Sandy Lou.
Sandy Lou Guerrero.
Hello, Sandy Lou.
Hi, Sandy. But that's very, very important. I know my nephew works at Five Guys, and for a minute there, they were working him to death. And his supervisor, I don't know if he didn't know. He probably didn't. And he would stay in the back room on the computer, and it's like, are you the only employee? I mean, and here's one for you, and I talked to my girlfriend about this. So my nephew comes home, and this is an issue, I think, if you don't know what your employee rights are, right? So he comes home, and he says, they reduced my hourly wage. I was like, why? He said, well, they said if they don't have 26 employees, then they reduce the wage. I'm like, no.
That makes no sense.
No. And he said, so and then if they go over get back up to their 26 employees, then they'll go back. I was like, well, that's insane. I ain't never heard of that
Somebody
before.
made that up.
Or is that something?
No.
Okay.
It depends on the area you live in. It has to do with the minimum wage. If you do have under 26 employees, you can still pay $10.50 in some areas.
Right, but you can go change it from if they were hired in at $11 or whatever, and then just arbitrarily just come back and say, okay, we don't have our 26 employees.
I think they took advantage of that.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
they
all
did.
right. That's what I was thinking. Like, I've worked in payroll for a very long time. I've never reduced anyone's salary.
Because on the 26.
Yeah, never. No, they got nothing to do with it.
They made a mistake, and then they caught it, so they wanted to go backwards, but they should have kept it at
But he was hired in at whatever he was hired in. I think it was $11.50 an hour, and then they reduced it down when they didn't have this 26 employees.
Yeah.
Like, no, I think that's against the law.
Now, Jeanette,
yes.
What's one of the biggest challenges you've encountered while doing this work with clients?
I would say the sales.
The sales,
going out and getting clients. My area of study is communications.
Yeah.
As my bachelor's and my master's, so I thought, I'm great with people. They're gonna line up to do business with us.
It was a reality check. Huh?
Oh yes, a fast one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just learning how to do effective sales, having strategy there.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as just meeting them, connecting with them. But at the end of the day, somebody advised me. He's like, well, don't think of it as sales. He's like, you're building relationships is what it is, and it's just putting a different perspective on it that has helped me. So now I'm like, when I approach people or business owners, I'm like, how can we connect?
How can I help you?
Exactly. How can I help you? Even if I can't help you, maybe we have something in common that we can just talk about and connect on that level. So,
and the key thing is that when we meet with clients, one of the key thing is that we know that the pain that they have, the pain or problem that they have is measured in 3 ways: time, money, and resources. So if you're out there trying to approach them, you got to be able to demonstrate to them why they should bring you on to solve one of those 3 areas of pain: time, money, or resources. Well, I don't have the time to do it, so can you come in and do it for me? I don't have the money to pay for it, so what kind of budget can you work with our budget? And then the resources, they don't have the knowledge, the expertise to do it, so that's why they need you guys to come in and do it. So once we're selling, and we're selling in those 3 areas, and show them the value proposition to that this is what I bring to the table. This is how you're going to benefit from this. Because in their mind, they're going, okay, what's in this for me?
How much does it cost?
What's in this?
Yeah, exactly. Always.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I said to Gilbert, I've always, I like a proposition where you have to have me. Or because somebody's telling you can't get your business loan if you don't have you don't have an
spreadsheet.
You don't have your balance sheet. Then, so now you have to have me, right? And I prefer clients like that. I'm a must-have.
Yeah, she's certainly a must-have. She's a must-have that they have to have. See, I'm a must-have, but they think they don't need us must-have.
That's the problem.
They're going, I don't need a business consultant. I can do it myself. Like many other startup businesses that I approach, I said, I have a solution that will help you guys to make your life easier, to expedite your documents. You can access it. You can get certified and all that. I don't need it. Then they stumble and they fall. And then after they stumble, they realize they really need, then they come back. And then that's when I said, sorry, I'm going to have to double this price. Because they were getting it at a discount before. And now they're going, well, I really need you now. So can you help me? Yes, I can help you, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah, exactly. But
we've experienced that too with the HR, where companies are, oh no, we don't need HR right now. And later on, once they're getting sued, then they ask us what to do.
They lay off someone and they did it the wrong way.
Now they want more often than not.
They're like, are you still available for HR? And
exactly.
I am, but it's going to cost you more.
Exactly.
You should take me up when I was looking for you.
Yes. Because now, and you have to do that, because in business you have to charge a premium for last minute requests or certain type of services that are really priority services. You have to. That's just the business. It's business 101.
But they always try to shortcut. So certain areas they think is not necessary until they're sued. Now, so for some companies, you probably could get away without your HR company, your department, right? But if you have a manufacturing or a distribution where employees can get hurt or injured, safety, and those laws that California, the Republic of California, changes
labor laws.
Labor laws. You need to have somewhere where you can pick up a phone and that person is right there for you. If you don't have an in-house, then you need to have somebody. And like she said, they find this out the hard way.
Like in construction, for example, with prevailing wage, you can't just, if you get a government contract, you can't just go to Home Depot and get some guys from Home Depot to work the project. That's illegal. That's not allowed. You got to get someone who's registered with the state training apprentice program, and you bring them in. And you got to pay them prevailing wage. You can't give them $10 an hour or whatever, because most of those positions, they start anywhere from, say, $35, $38 an hour, which include the fringe benefits and all of that. So they have to pay that, or they get big fines from the state of California.
Right, but there are a lot of them. Like I said, the privately owned companies, they want to circumvent all of that.
Oh, yes.
And then they think that they have, I can do what I want.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're always like that.
Definitely, definitely. Now, is there anything else that you want to share with the audience that you think small businesses need to know about the HR operation within their organization, or just any information?
Well, I just want to mention with the staffing, because we had a client. They've actually been my HR client for years, and then business stopped for a while. But now they called us for staffing. They hired an HR manager. So we assisted them with this position, but they had us and a couple of other agencies. But we were able to fill the position.
Right.
We actually, I just got a call from the operations manager yesterday, and she said, you know what, Yesenia? You sent us the best candidates.
Beautiful.
And that's because we take our job so serious.
Yes.
I mean, we're working Saturday and Sunday. We're on top of it.
Yeah.
Within a week, we got her some really good HR candidates.
That speaks volumes.
So I do want to tell businesses,
Yes.
yes, you can do your own hiring, but that's our expertise.
Yes.
Especially, that's our expertise, how to recruit. It's saving you time.
Save them time, yes.
It may not be saving you too much money, but you don't have to worry about all that. And within a week, you can have a good qualified candidate.
Well, actually, it is saving them money, because if they do it themselves, they're spending their time, because the time that they spend is costing them money, and they may make a bad selection. When you choose a bad employee, that can cost you a lot of money.
Yes.
So, yes, it is costing them money.
But I don't know if they see that, because even when they have high turnover, they don't realize how much it costs them. Because they think, okay, we'll just run them through and get rid of them or go get some more. But every time you do that, every time you train, you are investing in that employee.
Yes.
And if they're only lasting 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, that's such a waste of time. And it is costing them money.
And you know what? I take that back. You're right. Because let's say if you were the controller and you're interviewing these people, that's time you could be doing your job, taking you away from that.
Exactly. So, you are saving them money in essence. You are the expert. And that's what I tell small businesses. Try to find out what space you're good at, and you stick to that space. If you need something in another space, you bring in the expert to handle that. Like, for example, accounting. I wouldn't want to do my accounting stuff. I let her do that for me. Like, at the end of the year, my 1099s and all, I don't do that. I hire her to do that for me, because that's her expertise. That's not mine.
Right, exactly. And even from an interview standpoint, my girlfriend is in HR as well. But she was saying when she's out looking for a job, a lot of times when she goes to be interviewed, the person that's interviewing her, she turns around and interviews them because she knows more about the industry than the person that's asking. And she says, and then she has to figure out how not to make them feel uncomfortable because they're feeling intimidated that she knows more about the industry. So but a lot of times, because you're in the business, you know what to look for, you know what to listen for. Whereas a lot, if you're working for a company, that's not your job unless you're an HR person. That you're not listening for those little, because sometimes employees tell you before you even hire them whether or not they would fit in that environment.
Exactly. Yeah. And I used to do job training, interviewing techniques, resume writing and all of that when I was back in the day when I was in career development. And I used to love doing that. But you can tell within the first minute or so whether a candidate is a good fit for a position based on the questions that you ask them and then the follow-up questions. So I'm sure you guys have done that a lot, where you interview people and you go, in your mind you're going, that's not a good fit. Not a good fit. But let me talk to them some more, because maybe I can fit them somewhere else with another organization, right?
Yes. And that's exactly what our job is, to try to match the candidate with the company.
Yes.
That's exactly what we do every day.
Yeah.
And like you said, even if they don't match with that company, our minds are already running.
Exactly.
But you know what, they'd be good over here. Or let's follow up with them and see if they still need someone. Or if they don't, let's let them know we have this candidate.
Right. Because some companies have certain personalities, and some individuals have certain personalities too.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't go together. They may be very good at their jobs.
Yeah.
But the fact that the personalities don't go together, you don't want to match them up.
Right.
And that's good that they're consultants because you can have that conversation with them, right?
Yes.
Find out without infringing on their personal and what the law says you can't. Yeah. But you've been trained to listen and hear, and hear certain things, the buzzwords that would help you in that process.
Yeah. Right. And I think that helps when we work together because we put her HR expertise and my communication background together, and we're able to read people, match people, companies to it. Yes. It really helps.
That's very good.
Yeah,
I like that.
because a lot of times the boss might be trying to get it for the cheap. They're trying to get it cheap, right? And they're not listening to what's really happening. Okay, you're going to take this. They'll take this salary, but this is going to be a nightmare. You already know it's going to be a nightmare.
Exactly. Yeah. No, let me ask you this question because I've experienced a lot of this in the marketplace with organizations, with individuals, and Crystal and I, we've shared that too, because we're looking for someone to help us out with marketing as well. Do you find that as females, when you guys are out there marketing your HR services, do you find that you get more opportunities because you're female as opposed to a male?
I would say yes.
I would say yes too.
A younger female.
Yes, I would say yes too. And you know why I'd say yes? And you tell me what you think. A lot of men are idiots when it comes to sales and marketing. They buy stuff from female just because she's a female. They don't buy it because they really need it. They're going, wow, maybe if I buy from her, then I can get a date later on. You see what I mean? So I just wanted to ask you guys because we've seen it a lot.
It's true, and she's gotten a few invitations, and I'm like, well, go for it, and we'll both show up.
I come with my mom, but I won't tell you that until I come.
It's a package deal.
It's a package deal. Carolyn Hines, the name of their company is HRY Personnel Services. And that stands for, ladies?
Honesty, respect, and you.
Okay, so I hope that answered your question, Carolyn. And Carolyn also said that with all going on, that you really need sexual harassment training because you're going to get hit with a Me Too claim.
Who, me?
No. That's what she's saying in general. Carolyn does customer service
I know
training,
she does.
So she gets that. That's what she does.
I do think it is more of a warm welcome, though. Being women. Men and women are open to us, whereas I think when a male would approach a woman, she might be a little closed off, but even approaching other women, they're more open to us. We connect.
That's good, though.
I don't think even when I worked in a company, I'm trying to think if there was ever a male that was in HR. They don't usually have the warm and fuzzy kind of feeling. Because it does require certain technique. And you got to be nurturing, but at the same time be able to control circumstances and situations. And I don't know if men have that warm, nurturing, warm and fuzzy feeling that they could diffuse stuff. I think they would probably not.
I'm sure a lot of our audience may disagree with us on this. So give us a call. Let us know what your thoughts are on this. If you've experienced a male HR person that's really warm and fuzzy, make you feel very well when you're trying to conduct an interview, let us know. Give us a call, 323-293-3375. Okay? We're looking forward to hearing from you. We're really enjoying our discussion here with Yesenia and also Jeanette. This is just amazing information.
So have you worked for a company? Is that how you fine-tuned your skill sets? You actually worked for a company in the HR department?
Yes, I did. Before I graduated from Cal Poly, I did a couple of internships. That's how I knew I liked HR.
Good.
Okay. I worked in the personnel department, handing out applications, helping applicants. That was one of my internships. The other one was in the training department. And then when I graduated, I got my first job when I did my internship.
Very good.
That's why I tell young people you need to do internships.
Yes.
So I started as personnel assistant, went to HR manager, HR generalist, and then my consulting.
Right.
That's fantastic because that's usually that next transition because those are the skills that are great consultant type of companies. And like I said, when I went in, I was going in with the sole purpose that in about 10, 15 years, I'm on be out on my own. So I need to have skills.
So you had your exit strategy
I already
going
had my
in.
exit strategy
That's
going
great.
in.
That is great.
I didn't. It just happened because I met a consultant, and I'm like, how did you get into consulting?
Yeah.
And he's like, are you interested? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, because you lose your steady income, your vacation, everything. You lose all that.
Oh, yeah.
So when I jumped into that, it was a struggle at the beginning. I thought I was going to have to go back to a company. But then you get over that hump, and then it's great. I'm my own boss. I take vacations when I want. I'm in the greatest world ever.
That's why I said earlier at the offset of the show that as an entrepreneur, you got to have a special DNA. You got to understand that, there will be time when you won't get a paycheck this week or next week.
Right, exactly.
How do you survive? If you have that ability to sustain and survive, then you're good. You're good.
And I told that to Jeanette. I said, are you sure you want to come in with me? Because it's going to be a struggle right now as we're expanding this other business. So she went for it.
She jumped in with both feet.
It wasn't hard. I mean, I came from a college limited budget. You don't know the broke college student life.
You couldn't fall me much further back, right?
Except now I can say I'm a business owner. So.
Yeah.
And that feels good, right? To say that you're on your own boss.
Oh, yes.
And that's what spearheads our economy is having small businesses and grow to big businesses so that they can be in a position to hire other people. That's the only way that you can grow an economy is with small business.
Well, we definitely want to see you guys go after some of these contract opportunities because you're already qualified. You already got some of your certifications. So with the state of California, you want to go after that, the county of Los Angeles, and even the city of Los Angeles, because they bring in consultants from time to time, like you guys, to provide HR services, because they've got a variety of different departments. So you should check it out.
Okay.
You could have that in your repertoire, as some of the contracts that you have available. Yes.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, this has been a great interview.
Yes, this is amazing. I'm loving this.
I know, and I'm just so proud of both of you guys.
Oh,
and then
yes.
We'll do some referring. So you both look at your clientele in the Inland in the
Inland Empire.
Inland Empire
area.
Okay.
Yes.
I actually have some colleagues that are out there on that end. And,
do you have a storefront? A storefront like an office?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's in
Did you
Upland.
tell them the address before?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell them again, just in case?
How they can reach
Our
you.
address is 371 North Central Avenue. It's where HRY Personnel Services is. And you can reach us at our phone number, 909-375-0192. Or you can visit our website, hrypersonnelservices.com.
You know what I think would be great, Crystal?
What's that?
If we do a remote show at their facility. Can you imagine
we could
that?
do that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we could do like a recruiting at the same time. Recruit for services. And we're doing it live on the air.
Well, actually, that's kind of a neat way for people to candidates or employees look for jobs, right? I'm showing these are my skill sets and my specialty this, and I'd love to work for your company.
We could do an outreach.
Let's
do that.
Yeah,
We're open to it.
Let's work on that.
We have to plan that.
Yes.
That would be fantastic.
I think that would be amazing. We did it on the air one Friday afternoon. You guys do your outreach. You send out your invitations to job seekers, and then now you've got a bigger pool of potential candidates that you can share with your clients. That would be amazing.
Another thing we do, and we did that a couple of months ago, is a workshop for employers.
Yes.
Because employers, the one we did was on the most common mistakes employers make.
Yes.
So we're also willing to do that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Do you guys have a newsletter or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You're working on the website, right? Go ahead.
Well, when you get that, then send me a copy, and then I'll utilize. I'll make sure we send it out amongst our network as well.
Okay. See, I have a website, right? And a lot of people have told me to do newsletters. I know that's not my space, so I'm not even going to waste my time trying to do. She does newsletter for us, Crystal. She does newsletter.
I do.
For
BusinessZone. Blogging is so simple because you really don't have. You can write stuff. I've written articles, but you also can just share information that is very pertinent. You know, I get SHRM, I get newsletter from SHRM, so I share that during different times, and it keeps our people connected. That's the purpose of it.
Oh yeah, so she's great at that, but it's like for me, it's too much work. So I just farm that out to whomever will do it for me.
But it helps grow your network, right?
I know it does.
Because I'll go to events and they're like, "Oh, I get information from you all the time." Like, you do? Or here's an interesting thing. I got a call. I was getting this text the other day, and the lady was saying, "Well, are you going to be ready to do the workshop? And we're going to speak on this day and this day. And let me know what time you're going to get there so I can have the makeup artist there." And I'm like,
"Ooh, makeup artist.
Did I confirm something? I don't remember this." And so then I text. I said, "I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong person." And she goes, "This is Crystal, right?" I said, "Yes, Crystal." And then she goes, "What's your last name?" And then I told her. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm not even quite sure how I connected with you." But she was in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, so it's the wrong Crystal.
It was the wrong Crystal. She was looking for Dr. Crystal or somebody else that's in Cleveland. And I was like, wow. And she goes, "Somebody must have referred you to me, and I have your information and your name there."
That is amazing.
And so she was sending it, and she thought I was the Crystal. I'm like, wow, I didn't agree to speak somewhere, and I'm gonna have a makeup artist as well.
I know. I'm thinking, wow, I'm moving up. I'm getting makeup artists and all of that.
That's how expensive you.
I
right?
know.
When
see,
people,
we're getting there though.
Yeah.
We're getting to that makeup level where we got our team and everything.
Or somebody's talking about you, because that's really what happened.
Exactly.
She says, "Oh, wait a minute, how do I know you?" And then she tied it in. She kind of the only place I've been that I would have met somebody from Ohio is when I went to the Power Network conference.
Yes.
And that's a group of people from around the country.
Yeah.
And we come together and we network and but it's from everywhere. Everybody's coming from it. And that's the only place that I've been that I had that diverse of cities.
Yeah.
And so she goes, "Oh yeah, so and so referred you to me."
So real soon you're gonna have your theme song with people behind you walking around, right?
It happens. Or I've been in supermarkets and somebody has run up to me. It's like, "Oh, I saw your show on television."
Yeah, I know.
"Oh wow, you're here in person." I'm like, "Okay,
You're a celebrity."
I'm a celebrity.
So tell me, Jeanette and Yesenia, are you guys a member of SHRM?
Yes.
Yeah. What does it take for someone to become a part of SHRM, and why is SHRM important for HR folks?
As far as what does it take, if you're going to school for human resources or graduate, you should be a part of SHRM and PIRA, Professionals in Human Resources.
Yeah.
Because they provide a lot of information to us in human resources. Articles and resources, job descriptions, the workshops they do, the seminars they do, a lot of valuable information that if you're in the human resources field, you should be part of that.
So it's a certificate that you guys get from them? Is that it?
It's a membership.
You
pay for the membership.
Okay.
But even through that, like I said, last year I was the chair for the Emerging HR Professionals.
Yeah.
That was from the Inland Empire SHRM.
Oh.
They started that, and I headed that last year.
That's great.
Even as a business owner,
Yes.
if you don't have an HR, usually when I've gone into companies, even as their consultant, I'll have them get a membership from SHRM because it does give you enough information if you are not sure how to do overtime or now with ADA and some of the other new laws, especially with the new laws that pop up
Sick pay,
right. And what I
vacation
found for me when I was working, when I have a contract, a lot of times if I can't get the owner to comply, then I'll just print it off a SHRM. It's like, this is what the California laws say.
Oh, that is good.
Then at that point they will
they'll go, oh, okay.
Yeah, then okay. Now they're taking me serious, right?
Yeah.
So I used it as the reinforcement of what I'd already told them, but until they saw it in print with all of the legislation laws and stuff, then that's when they got serious about it.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, with regard to fines and punishment, that type of thing, for non-compliance with HR requirements, who handles that? The Department of Labor? Who handles that?
It depends what agency it's coming from.
Okay.
I mean, you can get audited by the EDD, the Employment Development Department. You can get audited by the Fair Employment Housing. Employees can go there and file claims.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this, but an employee, even after they leave their employment, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, they have a year to file a case.
Oh, wow.
So,
audience, you hear that? I did not know that.
So for me being in HR, if we terminated an employee or if an employee quit because they couldn't take the situation anymore, I am not comfortable until the 12 months went by.
Wow.
Then I'm like, now we're okay.
Because they can always come back. Yeah, they can always come back. But again, those are the things that employers or bosses don't know.
A lot of them don't know.
Yeah, they don't. Because they're not staying. It's just like, what we do. They don't stay current. I stay current with what's happening in the accounting world, right? You stay current what's happening in the certification world. The same thing here. That's not their business.
Right.
Another thing I see a lot is filing of workers' comp claims post-termination. And you think the employee's gone, I'm never going to hear. Then you get a claim on a workers' comp injury.
Like 5 days before the 1 year is up.
And the thing that hurts the employer, the company, is not having any documentation.
Yes.
Oh, that just hurts so much.
Yes. See, that's where my small biz bro comes in. You can put all your documentation.
Well, that in the HR, because HR is the one that helps put all this documentation together.
Yeah, Daisy always used to say the man who has the most documents is the one that wins.
That's true. That is true.
If you go into court with no paper,
that is so
you
true.
are not going to win this fight.
That is so
it's
true.
The one with the most paper.
Yes.
It makes you very anal. She's very anal in this area, but that's what she always says. Wow, we're at 4 minutes left. And I know it went by super fast. So before we close out, I want to thank you guys for coming. It's been so fantastic. Definitely. I also want to remind everyone that Recycling Black Dollars Breakfast Mixer is March the 13th, which is Tuesday, and at 8 o'clock at Denny's at Crenshaw and Coliseum. So come on out and visit us. And before I close, in celebration of Women's History Month, I want to read a poem, and it's called Remember Women by Rees Leva. Remember women, you were born life givers, miracle creators, magic markers. You were born with the heart of 1,000 mothers and open, fearless, and sweet. You were born with the fire of queens and conquerors, warriors. Blood you bleed. You were born with the wisdom of sage and shamans. No wound can you not heal. You were born the teller of your own tale. Before none should you kneel. You were born with an immeasurable soul reaching out past infinity. You were born to desire with passion abandon and to name your own destiny. Remember, woman, remember you are more than you can see. Remember, woman, remember you are loved endlessly. Remember, woman, your power and grace, the depth of your deep sea heart. Never forget you are a woman divine as you have been from the start.
Unbelievable. That is phenomenal.
The power of a woman.
That is amazing.
Woman power, huh?
That is in celebration of Women's Month, March, Women's Month. And I think, Crystal, you did a great job in capsuling all of that right there. That says the essence of the month.
Right. That says that women are powerful, and I think we're going to make a change in this world.
Yes.
And
it's coming.
And I see it with the Me Too claims, even though they may not like it, and the women that are standing up to run for office.
It's coming.
And that even what you guys do, you're consulting, you're counseling people to the best jobs that will fit their lives.
Yeah.
What you and I are doing, making sure, because one of the things we find out in a business world is a lot of times women have less confidence and to go out there and live their best life.
Yes.
One of the young ladies that was in my class, she spoke at the graduation, and she said in her speech, she says, I realize that I'm more than a mommy. I realize I can leave my child for more than a run to the store, that I can go for hours and my child will not fall apart when I get back. Yeah. And I realize that I have a life in addition to them. That's that I have to live my life so that it make a better life for them.
That's true. That's still phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So know this, women, that this month is just this month, like Black History Month, like Hispanic business, whatever it is, it goes on 24/7, 365 days. They just happen to highlight this one month.
Not just a day, not just a week, not just a month. It's the whole year, and it's continuous. So just want you to know that. I just want to say real quickly to our members, our participants, and our the Business Zone Mastermind Contract Readiness Training Program. Our next class is next Thursday. That's March 15th, and it's at 4 o'clock at the Los Angeles Urban League. So please come out and participate. We've currently got a crew that's enrolled, but if you're new and you want to be added to the class, please give us a call. And you can reach me at 626-533-1186. Since I don't remember Crystal's number. So give me a call, and I can connect you with Crystal so you can get enrolled in that program.
All righty. You can never remember anybody's
I
number
can
but
never
your
remember.
own.
You know, they say when you get over 40, you don't remember anything. It's true. I don't remember anything.
Make sure you have it in your phone so if you get lost,
Exactly.
they can call somebody.
Exactly.
Come find you.
So we want to thank Yesenia again. Yesenia and Jeanette Flores. They're from HRY Personal Services. And Crystal and I would like to thank them for being on the show. And, of course, they're going to part with the Small Biz Pro software program to help run their business. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you for being
this
here
was
for
very nice. Thank
Black
you.
History Month. Is this your first time doing a show of this nature?
Yes, it is.
Okay, were you comfortable?
It was pretty comfortable.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
This is the #1 small business show in the Southern California.
Listen to him, boy. He got it. The #1.
The #1.
Like an Amazon bestseller.
That's what I'm talking about. So thank you for tuning in to the Business Zone. And you're with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic.
And we'll see you next Friday.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement, yes, I'm ready to go. Got my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement, yes, I'm ready to go. Got my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Got an appointment with the SBA, my business license and my CPA. A contract with the MTA, my business license and my CPA. As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. Yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.